Okay, thank you. Climb up to seat. This is a bit annoying.
Mavic 2 Pro never crashed. Mini 2 never crashed. Mavic Air 2, Air 2S never crashed. Mavic 3 managed to crash it in the first week. And I am not the only one crashing this new drone, so why is the Mavic 3 so easy to crash? Well, that is what I'm talking about today. Hello, I'm Ian and I play with drones. In fact, I actually play with lots and lots of drones. I think I'm currently on about 10 different models. And in the last 5 years, I could count on one hand the number of crashes I've had. And even then, it's normally doing some stupid test for a video review. This week, whilst making another video on filming trees, I came a cropper and I watched my new Mavic 3 fall to the ground. Now, I was lucky here as it fell on long grass. It had no damage other than a bit of mud and a broken prop. Look, don't get me wrong. One of my golden rules to avoid crashes is to stay well away from trees. And this crash was absolutely my fault. I was the one controlling the sticks. But as I said, I am not the only one managing to crash this thing, and it's catching out others too, including Paul Russ at 51 Drones last week, who was unlucky enough to suffer a broken gimbal to boot as well when flying through some trees. So look, I've been looking at what went wrong, and I think it stems from two fundamental reasons. First off, I should point out this is defo not a Mavic 3 trashing video. Most of you know I'm already mighty impressed with the Mavic 3. I've posted some fairly impressive videos over the last couple of weeks that I've been filming with it. So as I said, this is not about trashing this drone. So look, first issue I see with the Mavic 3 is the sensitivity of the sticks. You can see here in my very first flight, one of my first reactions is how jumpy and sensitive this drone is.
Wow, it's quite jumpy.
And this really is an issue because it is not about just having clumsy fingers on the sticks. This model really does seem far more grabby and jumpy when you touch the sticks. With the slightest of touches, it flicks sideways and often considerably. And worse, there is no way to adjust the sensitivity of the sticks. This is because the Mavic 3 is using the DJI Fly app, unlike the 2 Pro, which uses the older Go 4 app, which crucially does allow you to adjust the EXP stick sensitivities in the settings. That allows you to reduce the sensitivity of the drone when you start to move the sticks. Really useful. Sadly, the Mavic 3's Fly app does not have these settings. In fact, the only thing you can try and adjust and smooth out is the pitch speed of the gimbal up and down and the rotational yaw of the drone itself, but nowhere can you actually adjust the stick sensitivity. But to me, this is not the whole issue. Like I said, I've not crashed my Air 2S or the Air 2 or the Mini 2, and they all use the Fly app as well. But crucially, they are nowhere near as sensitive to stick movements. I really do think Mavic 3 is far more grabby and sensitive than these other models. So, super sensitive sticks is one of the things to watch out for. A very gentle touch is the name of the game, I think, to keep things smooth. But there is another big issue that I see, and that is the APAS, or the obstacle avoidance of the Mavic 3. Again, do not get me wrong, the OA system on the Mavic 3 is absolutely incredible. I've been doing some fairly brutal testing on this for another video. Time and time again, the Mavic 3 just managed to manoeuvre its way out of extremely complex situations, avoiding the smallest of twigs and working out the best way to avoid everything in its path. But to me, this is where the Mavic starts doing unexpected things, or at least unexpected to the person flying it. There has been a lot of mention I've heard of how the Mavic 3 seems to increase height by itself, and I noticed this too. Here you can see the Mavic 3 rising up along the road, even though I'm just pushing the right stick forwards and not increasing the height at all on the remote. But one of the first things I did when I got the Mavic 3 was to amend the obstacle avoidance setting in the general settings. So I changed the obstacle avoidance to bypass. Now this obviously is the whole point, I think, of the advanced APAS system, and is what appears in the promotional videos, namely to assist the pilot in working out how to continue the flight, bypassing any obstacles and without having to stop. And it really is an incredibly clever system, but again, it can catch you out. So increasing height by itself is something people have complained about, but in fact it is just the drone doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is namely avoid obstacles. I was flying amongst trees, and this is where the obstacle avoidance can drive you mad by being so sensitive, causing it to brake all the time or veering off course way before you feel it actually needs to. So for certain shots it's very easy to be tempted to turn the obstacle avoidance off to get that shot you are trying for, and this is how I crashed, because the OA kept causing the Mavic 3 to slow down and veer off course. So being perfectly aligned with the direction of flight, I turned the OA off, which was fine when I stopped up close to a tree in front of me. But then the sensitive sticks caught me out when I tried to move sideways by a couple of feet. It jerked sideways by a good 10 feet, clipped a twig, and down it went. Now, this was a lucky crash. As I said, it was only around 10 feet high and it landed on long grass. It was still a good old hike out to retrieve it though, and it's a good reminder of the Find My Drone function, which can initiate some loud beeping and lights to help you find it if it's lost in a crop field, or in my case this day, long grass. And in this case, the only thing I had to do, take it home, clean it up, clean the mud off, sort the lens out and replace one of the sets of props. After that, I did a gimbal calibration, a little test flight in the back garden again, and all was good. So, lesson learned, and that is the purpose of today's video. This drone has got some of the most sophisticated obstacle avoidance technology that I've ever seen on any model, and I am actually doing another video on that. But here's the thing. Pilots that are used to flying DJI drones need to take care, because you have got two things that are going to catch you out with the Mavic 3. The sticks are way more sensitive and will result in a lot of sideways jerks that with even the slightest of touches. And changing the obstacle avoidance to bypass will cause the drone to move in more instances than you may otherwise be used to. And if you then try and take remedial action yourself, you're easily going to end up possibly hitting something else. So that's it. As I said, forewarned, forearmed. I'm putting another video up, as I said, demonstrating the obstacle avoidance, and I will put a link to that up there when I get that published and edited, or edited and published even. But look, for now, I'm hoping this video really does help someone out there to avoid making the same mistake that I did, and if it does, then that can only be a good thing. So look, as ever, if you like this sort of thing, give me a little thumbs up, always helps the cause, and ding that dong to get notified when I put the next video up. Either way, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, until next time, have fun, stay safe and sane, don't crash, happy flying.